Will everyone please take their seats? In accordance with the Constitution and laws of the state of Texas, I, Jane Nelson, Secretary of State of the state of Texas, call the Texas House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature to order. As we begin today, let me remind you that under the terms of conduct for the House chamber, the presiding officer is charged with preserving order and decorum, including in the gallery, the lobby, and adjacent spaces. I would ask those persons on the floor and in the gallery to comply with the principles of decorum as outlined in your program. The House Gallery, please rise for the invocation and remain standing for the national anthem and pledges of allegiance to the United States and Texas flags. The invocation will be delivered by the Reverend Gregory S. Davidson from the Cross Point Presbyterian Church.
Would you join me in prayer? Dear God, our mighty creator and sustainer, the one in whom we live and move and have our being. Lord, I stand here this afternoon to invoke your name, to ask for your presence, to seek your guidance for this, the 89th session of the Texas Legislature. You are the great lawgiver, the one from whom all laws and statutes flow. Without you, we are set adrift on a lawless sea of despair. For we know that when left to our own devices, we oftentimes fall into chaos. Forgive us, Lord, when we do. For you desire better for us. You allowed the founders of this great republic to create a government, an association based on representative democracy, with this branch being closest to the people that it serves. The women and men standing here will swear an oath to be those representatives. But Lord, in reality, they are your vicars and viceroys of your government, those whom you have empowered to hear the cries of the people, to act on their behalf, and to maintain order, promote justice, and punish evil. While it is you who have placed them here, each of them have answered your call with great cost and great personal sacrifice. And not only them, Lord, but also their families as well. I ask your blessing on the spouses, the children, the family members, that you will strengthen them while their mothers and fathers are away, that you will keep them safe and protect them until these citizen legislators can return to their homes after the session is over. Lord, I ask your blessing on the legislative staff who will help these representatives carry out their sacred duties, that you will give them staff who will provide wise counsel, sound advice, and help them to promote character and honesty and integrity. Lord, I ask your blessing on the staff of this chamber and on the affiliated legislative support agencies around it, that you will protect these employees during their long hours ahead, that you will lift them when they get weary, and that you will remind them of the important work that they do to support the founders' vision of a sound and fair state government. And finally, Lord, I seek your blessing on these legislators themselves. May you give them the patience of Job, the vision of Abraham, the statesmanship of Sam Houston, the courage of Juan Seguin, the eloquence of Barbara Jordan, and the selfless service to the cause of Texas of Clara Driscoll. For Jesus, you told us, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called the children of God. And so they are. Today, Lord, may we all be peacemakers so that we may be your children. For it is in your most holy and perfect name that I pray. Amen.
Amen. Please remain standing. Today we are pleased to have Alexandre Durantes from the Butler School of Music at the University of Texas at Austin perform our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the lands of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please remain standing as we ask our respective deans to lead us in the pledges. The chair recognizes the Honorable Tom Craddock of Midland County to lead the pledge to the United States flag.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Texas Capitol. I'd like for you to stand, those of you who haven't, and turn around. I'm going to turn around, and I want the American flags on the left, and they've already got it up there. I'd like for you to follow me, and let's hear it really strong for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the Honorable Zephronia Thompson of Harris County to lead the pledge to the Texas flag.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee.
I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state
Under God, one and indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dean Thompson. Thank you. You may be seated. Well, thank you. I am Jane Nelson, Texas Secretary of State, and it is my privilege to join you on this very important day as we open a new legislative session dedicated to serving the people of Texas. For the new members who may not know me, before serving as secretary, I had the privilege of serving Texas in the Senate for 30 years. Thank you. And I remember vividly the excitement of my very first opening day, being sworn in. I had my 5 children with me right there on the Senate floor, and the excitement of celebrating with friends and family. And I want to tell you, brand new members, congratulations and welcome. Thank you for your willingness to serve. And returning members, welcome back. And thank you for continuing to serve the people of Texas. Many of you have family here with you, and I want to welcome all of the family members and friends who support these legislators. We understand the sacrifices you make when your loved ones answer the call to public service. So whether you're here today or cheering from home, I know there are cameras up there somewhere looking out, seeing, I just thank you for supporting these members. Thank you, truly. I wish everybody here could be where I am, looking at you, seeing what I see. A chamber that's filled with individuals and families that reflect our great state, filled with hope and filled with excitement. And don't forget to look around. I mean, just look at where we are. Did you look walking in at the magnificence of this building? Think of the history that has taken place here. Sometimes, Walter Fisher's been around longer than I have. Tom Craddock, I think you have too, Zephronia. I mean, some of us have been around for quite a while. And new members learn from those that have been around for a while. But sometimes when I was over there in the Senate working long hours, members, you're going to work long hours. Sometimes I'd been here long hours, and late at night, I would go up to the Senate chamber when nobody else was there, and I would sit in the Senate chamber and just think about those that served before me. I was inspired by the honor and the dignity and the pride of being a Texan. Now, did those members disagree with each other? Of course they did. You see that man sitting there, right? Mike, put up your hand. Okay, that's my husband right there. And I've been married to him for 50 years. Thank you. Thank you. And a side note, it took him 5 years to ask me to marry him, but that's an aside. But we certainly don't always agree. And we're just 2 people. Now, this body here is made up of 150 members, representing districts that are very diverse: urban, rural, suburban, rich, poor. Of course there are going to be differences, but there are core issues that are important to all of us that are quite similar. We all want our families to be healthy and safe. We all want our children to receive a good education. We all want an economic climate in which businesses can grow and prosper. Today marks the beginning of 140 days of work on behalf of the people of Texas. There will be challenges and there will be debates. But remember, we are family. We are all Texans. We care about each other. We take care of each other. And together, we will continue to be the best state in which to live and work and raise a family. Thank you. And with that in mind, let's move on to the next order of business. See, Charlie Guerin, I promised you this would be short. The chair announces the appointment of the following temporary officers and employees of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature. The clerk will read the officers.
Temporary officers of the 89th Legislature. Parliamentarians Walter Fisher and Sharon Carter. Assistant Parliamentarian Thomas G. Samuels. Chief Clerk Stephen Brown. Assistant Chief Clerk Mark Cervantes. Journal Clerk Jennifer Teagan Duran. Voting Clerk Scotty Hagan. Sergeant at Arms Kara Coffey. Assistant Sergeant at Arms Brianna Wallace. Doorkeeper Alec DiGiulio. Reading Clerks Mason Roberts and Alyssa Vargas. Committee Coordinator Stacy Nicchio. Assistant Committee Coordinator Damian Duarte. Executive Director House Business Office Stephen D. Adrian. Assistant Director House Business Office Scott D. Siebert. Chaplain Gregory S. Davidson.
The Chief Clerk will call the roll of members-elect of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature according to representative districts.
Please answer present as I call your name. District 1, Gary Van Dever. District 2, Brett A. Money. District 3, Cecil Bell Jr. District 4, Keith Bell. District 5, Cole Hefner. District 6, Daniel Alders. District 7, Jay Dean. District 8, Cody Harris. District 9, Trent Ashby. District 10, Brian Harrison. District 11, Joanne Schofner. District 12, Trey Wharton. District 13, Angelia Orr. District 14, Paul Dyson. District 15, Steve Toth. District 16, Will Metcalf. District 17, Stan Gerdes. District 18, Janice Holt. District 19, Ellen Troxclair. District 20, Terry M. Wilson. District 21, Dade Phelan. District 22, Christian Manuel. District 23, Terry Leo Wilson. District 24, Greg Bonin. District 25, Cody Thane Vasut. District 26, Matt Morgan. District 27, Ron Reynolds. District 28, Gary Gates. District 29, Jeffrey Berry. District 30, AJ Lauterbach. District 31, Ryan Guillen. District 32, Todd Hunter. District 33, Katrina Pearson. District 34, Denise Villalobos. District 35, Oscar Longoya. District 36, Sergio Munoz Jr. District 37, Janie Lopez. District 38, Erin Elizabeth Gomez. District 39, Armando Mondo Martinez. District 40, Terry Canales. District 41, Bobby Guetta. District 42, Richard Pena Raymond. District 43, J.M. Lozano. District 44, Alan Schoolcraft. District 45, Aaron Zwiener. District 46, Cheryl Cole. District 47, Vicki Goodwin. District 48, Donna Howard. District 49, Gina Hinojosa. District 50, James Tallarico. District 51, Maria Luisa Lulu Flores. District 52, Caroline Harris Davila. District 53, Wes Verdell. District 54, Brad Buckley. District 55, Hillary Hickland. District 56, Pat Curry. District 57, Richard Hayes. District 58, Helen Kerwin. District 59, Shelby Slauson. District 60, Mike Olcott. District 61, Carissa Richardson. District 62, Shelley Luther. District 63, Ben Baumgartner. District 64, Andy Hopper. District 65, Mitch Little. District 66, Matt Shaheen. District 67, Jeff Leach. District 68, David Spiller. District 69, James B. Frank. District 70, Mihaela Elizabeth Plisa. District 71, Stan Lambert. District 72, Drew Darby. District 73, Carrie Isaac. District 74, Eddie Morales Jr. District 75, Mary E. Gonzalez. District 76, Suleiman Lalani. District 77, Vincent Vince Perez. District 78, Joe Moody. District 79, Claudia Ordaz. District 80, Don McLaughlin Jr. District 81, Brooks Landgraf. District 82, Tom Craddock. District 83, Dustin Burrows. District 84, Carl H. Tepper. District 85, Stan Kitzman. District 86, John Smithy. District 87, Caroline Fairley. District 88, Ken King. District 89, Candy Noble. District 90, Ramon Romero Jr. District 91, David Lowe. District 92, Salman Bojani. District 93, Nate Schatzline. District 94, Tony Tinderholt. District 95, Nicole Collier. District 96, David Cook. District 97, John McQueenie. District 98, Giovanni Capriglione. District 99, Charlie Guerin. District 100, Vinton Jones. District 101, Chris Turner. District 102, Ana Maria Ramos. District 103, Rafael Anchia. District 104, Jessica Gonzalez. District 105, Terry Mesa. District 106, Jared Patterson. District 107, Linda Garcia. District 108, Matt Morgan. District 109, Aisha Davis. District 110, Tony Rose. District 111, Yvonne Davis. District 112, Angie Chin Button. District 113, Retta Andrews Bowers. District 114, John Bryant. District 115, Cassandra Hernandez. District 116, Trey Martinez Fisher. District 117, Philip Cortez. District 118, John Lujan III. District 119, Elizabeth Liz Campos. District 120, Barbara Gervin Hawkins. District 121, Mark LaHood. District 122, Mark DeRazio. District 123, Diego Bernal. District 124, Josie Garcia. District 125, Ray Lopez. District 126, E. Sam Harless. District 127, Charles Cunningham. District 128, Briscoe Kane. District 129, Dennis Paul. District 130, Tom Oliverson. District 131, Alma A. Allen. District 132, Mike Schofield. District 133, Mano de Ayala. District 134, Ann Johnson. District 135, John E. Rosenthal. District 136, John H. Boosie. District 137, Jean Wu. District 138, Lacey Hull. District 139, Charlene Ward Johnson. District 140, Armando Lucio Wale. District 141, Symphonia Thompson. District 142, Harold V. Dutton Jr. District 143, Ana Hernandez. District 144, Mary Ann Perez. District 145, Christina Morales. District 146, Lauren Ashley Simmons. District 147, Jolanda Jones. District 148, Penny Morales Shaw. District 149, Hubert Vo. I've got Mr. District 149, Hubert Vo. District 150, Valerie Swanson.
He's here. He's here, I saw him.
Okay. Quorum's present. A quorum is present. Yeah. The Chief Clerk will now administer the constitutional oath of office to the members-elect of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature. All members-elect will please rise. Yeah. Well, they haven't been sworn in yet. Okay, all members-elect.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me, stating your name when I state mine. I, Stephen Brown, do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office of member of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature of the State of Texas, and will, to the best of my ability, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the United States and of this state. So help me God.
Congratulations, members. Now you can applaud. Members, next we are going to start work on organization of the House, which could take some time. So, I would like to pause briefly so that members may take photos with their floor guests. Now, I know some of you have younger children who aren't going to want to sit through long discussions, so when we reconvene in 10 minutes, only members of the House, temporary officers, and approved media representatives will be authorized to be on the House floor. Did everybody get that? So 10 minutes. I'm looking. All right. At 12:42. At 12:42. We're going to come back in. So does everybody get that? We're going to reconvene at 12:42, where members of the House, temporary officers, and approved media representatives will be authorized to be on the floor. The House is going to stand at ease until 12:42. Thank you. I should do it 3 more times. Thank you. The House will come to order. At this time, only House members, temporary officers, and approved media representatives are authorized to be on the House floor. I would like to announce that the oath of office was administered to Representative Vo during the break. He ran into a little bit of traffic. And yes, congratulations, Representative Vo. He is with us and has been duly sworn in. Members, please take your seats. I'm going to bang this till we come to order. The House will come to order. Now, the House traditionally operates under the prior session's rules as the temporary rules on opening day until such time that the body may adopt new permanent rules. The House will now consider a motion in writing to adopt last session's rules as temporary rules. The following motion in writing, the clerk will read the motion.
Motion in writing. The Honorable Angie Chin Button of Dallas County. Madam Secretary, I move to adopt the House Rules of Procedure from the 88th Legislature, accepting Rule 16 as temporary rules.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Angie Chin Button of Dallas County to explain the motion.
First, Madam Secretary, let me express my sincere appreciation. This is such a great honor. Thank you. Love you. Members, this is the motion we typically adopt prior to the Speaker election on opening day, to use the prior session's rules as temporary rules. As we did last session, we are excluding Rule 16, the pandemic rule, which was never activated during the 88th legislature. The House Rules Manual from the 88th legislature, which is over 300 pages, is also available online on the House website. As we typically do, the House will fully debate our permanent rules of procedure for the 89th legislature after the Speaker is elected. I move adoption.
The question occurs on the adoption of the motion. Is there any objection? The chair hears none, and the motion is adopted. Thank you. Members, we will now proceed to the nomination and election of the Speaker. It is my role to provide a fair and transparent framework by which the will of the House can be determined so that you can elect your Speaker. With that in mind, we are going to start the discussion about how to elect the speaker with a resolution from the Honorable Todd Hunter of Nueces County and the Honorable Cody Vasut from Brazoria County. This resolution was pre-filed for the public to review. It will serve as the starting point for the body to deliberate and consider any potential amendments to shape the process by which a speaker is elected. The following resolution, the clerk will read the resolution.
H.R. 1 by the Honorable Todd Hunter of Nueces County and the Honorable Cody Vasut of Brazoria County. Be it resolved by the House of Representatives of the State of Texas that in accordance with Section 9B and 11, Article 3, Texas Constitution, the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature shall elect a Speaker of the House from its own membership as follows. Section 1, Nominations. A, the Secretary of State shall call for the nominations from the floor for the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives and shall recognize every member who desires to make a nomination. The order in which members shall proceed to make a nomination shall be determined by lot. B, each member recognized for this purpose shall immediately advance to the front microphone and make the nomination in a nominating speech not to exceed 5 minutes in length. C, after all nominations have been made, the Secretary of State shall declare nominations to be closed. D, the Secretary of State shall recognize at any time a member whose name has been placed in nomination for the purpose of withdrawing as a nominee. A member who withdraws is not considered a nominee. Section 2, Seconds. A person is not considered a nominee unless the nomination is seconded by at least one member. B, 1 seconding speech shall be allowed for each nomination in the order in which nominations were made. Then other seconding speeches shall be allowed in rotation in the same order. C, no more than 3 seconding speeches shall be allowed for each nominee. D, a seconding speech may not exceed 4 minutes in length. Section 3, Voting Procedures, Voting Machine. A, if after the close of all seconding speeches only one nominee remains for election to the Speaker, the Secretary of State shall recognize a motion to elect that nominee by acclamation. If no motion is made, or 5 or more members make a written request for a record vote, the members shall record their votes from their desk on the voting machine with yeas and nays taken as in other record votes of the House. B, if there are 2 or 3 nominees for Speaker, the members shall record their votes from their desks on the voting machine with a different colored light on the machine indicating a vote for each nominee. The presiding officer shall draw lots to determine the color for each nominee. C, before the close of voting on the voting machine, the presiding officer shall provide several warnings to the members that the voting period is about to close. D, a verification of a vote taken by voting machine shall be roll call vote with the members seated in the House at order, beginning with the members recorded as voting for the nominee with the most votes. During verification, a member may not change a vote unless it was erroneously recorded, and a member not having voted for a nominee may not cast a vote. E, if there are 3 nominees for Speaker, a member who does not cast a vote for a nominee but was recorded as present at the initial roll call taken under Section 301.004 Government Code shall be recorded as present not voting in the record of the vote. Section 4, Voting Procedures, Roll Call Vote. A, if there are more than 3 nominees for Speaker, the election shall be held in the manner provided for a roll call vote of the members with the Chief Clerk calling the members' names in alphabetical order. When the Chief Clerk reads aloud the name of a member, the member shall vote by stating the name of one of the nominees or state that the member is present not voting. The Chief Clerk shall repeat the member's vote aloud and record the vote on a tally sheet. B, after all members have announced their votes, the Chief Clerk shall prepare a report containing the total votes received by each nominee and the total number of members who are present not voting. The Chief Clerk shall provide a copy of the report to the Secretary of State. C, a verification of a vote taken by roll call consists solely of ensuring that an announced vote was tallied correctly. Section 5, Record Vote. All votes taken shall be record votes with the vote of each member to enter into the House Journal. Section 6, Results, Runoff. A, the Secretary of State shall announce the results of the election. If a nominee receives 76 or more of the votes cast, the Secretary of State shall declare that the nominee to be elected to the office of Speaker of the House of Representatives. B, if no nominee receives 76 or more of the votes cast, the 2 nominees receiving the largest number of votes in the initial vote shall be in a runoff conducted by a voting machine as provided by Section 3 of this resolution. The Secretary of State shall announce the results of the runoff and declare the nominee receiving 76 or more of the votes cast to be elected. C, in a runoff between two nominees or no nominee receives 76 or more of the votes cast, additional rounds of runoff voting shall occur between the same two nominees until one of the nominees in the runoff receives 76 or more of the votes cast. Section 7, tie votes. If in the initial vote no nominee receives 76 or more of the votes cast, and it is not possible to determine the two nominees receiving the largest number of votes cast because of a tie vote, additional rounds of voting shall occur among the same nominees, other than a nominee who withdraws, until a nominee receives 76 or more of the votes cast, or if no nominee receives 76 or more of the votes cast, until it is possible to determine the two nominees who receive the largest number of votes cast. Section 8, oath. After the election, the Secretary of State shall, 1, direct the Speaker-elect to proceed to the Speaker's rostrum for the purpose of taking the constitutional oath of office, and 2, proceed to the administration of the oath of office to the Speaker-elect. The Speaker shall take the chair immediately after taking the oath of office.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Todd Hunter of Nueces County to explain the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Secretary and members. These are your cliff notes. So these are your procedures. The motion provides for a nominating speech not to exceed 5 minutes. It requires a nomination to be seconded by at least one member. It allows up to 3 seconding speeches not to exceed 4 minutes. Requires votes to be record votes and entered in the journal. Requires using the voting machine for 3 or fewer nominees, and requires a roll call vote if there are more than 3 nominees. If more than one candidate is nominated, the Secretary of State will draw lots to determine the order of speeches and the color of light on the voting machine for each candidate. To be elected Speaker, a candidate must receive 76 or more of the votes cast. The resolution provides for a runoff if no nominee receives 76 or more votes on the first ballot. Additional rounds of runoff voting will be conducted until a nominee receives 76 votes or more of the votes cast. Representative Vasut and I move adoption.
Ms. Thompson, for what purpose?
Madam Secretary, does the gentleman yield for a question?
Does the gentleman yield? Yes, ma'am, he does.
May I ask questions, please?
Yes, ma'am, you may.
Representative Hunter, I think that I'm hearing you saying that if a person does not receive the 76 votes, we go to a runoff. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And will those runoffs be in infinity until we finally get somebody? It may be 10, 15, 20, 30 runoffs.
Let's hope not, but
But it could be possible.
it could be, but there are enough procedural rules that Representative Vasut and I have checked that you could request of the Secretary and the parliamentarians to take a look at that point in time if it went too many times.
So if we went past 2 or 3 times and there was no person who had reached 76, then would it be in order for a person to make that request at that time?
It would be in order to make the request, but you would need to do it of the Secretary and the parliamentarians.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Dutton, for what purpose?
Question of the author.
Yes.
Yes, he yields for
Thank
question.
Thank you. Do the persons who are nominated, do members get to ask them questions from the back mic?
The answer is no.
So whoever's nominated can make a speech, but the members don't get to ask questions. Is that right?
That's how the rule's drafted.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
We move again for adoption.
The question occurs on the adoption of House Resolution 1. This is a record vote by the Constitution. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote nay. The clerk will ring the bell. Show Mr. Hunter voting aye. Show Mr. Vasut voting aye. Have all members voted? There being 145 ayes, 5 nays, the resolution is adopted. Thank you. All right. The next order of business is the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Nominations are now in order. Will any member who desires to make a nomination please come forward at this time? Thank you. Thank you. What? Everybody's coming down to nominate? Holy tamale, moly. Okay, just bring it on down. To do. Line it up. Okay. I'm hot. Okay. Members, pay attention. Under the terms of the resolution adopted by the House, I will now draw lots to determine the order in which members will proceed to make a nomination. Okay? Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Oh, you're going to have to fill this out. She's going to fill it. victory lights. All right, let's do this. The chair recognizes the Honorable Cristina Morales of Harris County to nominate Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County.
Madam Secretary, esteemed members.
Excuse me 1 minute. We need order. We need people to listen to you. Members, take your seats. Go ahead.
Madam Secretary, thank you. Esteemed members, both new and old or returning, welcome to the Texas House of Representatives. Today is a historical day as we begin the 89th legislative session. My nomination today is about the millions of Texans who can't see a doctor because health insurance is out of reach. It is about the Texas children dying in the very classrooms where they should be safe from harm. It is about the millions of Texans who can't make ends meet despite showing up and working hard every single day. These challenges demand leadership that understands them at a personal level and has the courage to fight for solutions. It is imperative that we elect a speaker who knows working Texans struggle firsthand and puts the needs of our most vulnerable above the elite. The reality is that Texans are dying. Texas children, like my constituents, Landon Payton or Sergio Rodriguez, should have been safe in their schools in my district, in Texas District 145, but instead had their young lives cut short. Landon, when school issued medical equipment, failed, and Sergio, when he had no option but to cross lethal train tracks to get to school. Sergio and Landon are stories that happen every day in all of our districts. Children are becoming statistics, and we have the opportunity to act and put an end to these preventable deaths. We have failed them in this House, and we must ensure that no more parents have to bury their children. Many of you know that I was an orphan by the time I was a teenager. And it was my family members, like my siblings, my cousins who were here today, my grandparents, that took care of me after my parents were gone. Outside of these walls, families, neighbors, and communities put aside their disagreements to protect each other. But members of this body don't look like the rest of Texas. We as members vote on policy that impacts every Texan, but we rarely know what it's like to choose between paying a light bill and buying groceries. It's time we elect a speaker who does.
Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos grew up in East Dallas, the daughter of Mexican immigrants, and was raised by a single mom. She is the middle child of 7 siblings who frequently tussled with her brothers and sisters for scarce resources, surviving in the hot Texas heat and blistering winters in any way that they could. Much like in my family, Ana Maria's older sisters stepped in to care for the younger ones. In the summers when school was out, they were sent to Mexico because feeding 7 kids in Texas just wasn't affordable. While attending schools, she had to be dropped off so early that the teachers had yet to arrive and the lights were still off in the school. But education was still a priority. Her mother always had books in the house, and Ana Maria escaped into everything from encyclopedias to fairy tales. Her mother worked hard to show her children that there was something more out there to strive for, the American dream. Ana Maria never felt that dream was for her. After middle school, her life was interrupted by the birth of her daughter, and she didn't make it to high school. At 15, a pregnancy was a challenge, but her room in a Parkland hospital, looking at her daughter, she knew she had to do something more. The very fact that
I'm sorry,
she and I
your
can
time
reach-
has expired.
Okay, I'm sorry. Madam Secretary and members, it is my honor and privilege to nominate the Honorable Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos for Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives. Thank you.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Trent Ashby of Angelina County to nominate the Honorable David Cook of Tarrant County. And I'm sorry to cut people off. I hate doing that, but I cut people off if they go over their time limit, and I'll be equally fair about that.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Members, it's my honor to stand before you today to nominate a principled public servant, trusted colleague, and a man of unwavering character to lead this body as the next Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives, my dear friend, David Cook. I've served under 3 speakers, having approved them by both acclamation and through a contested process, much like we see today, as well as run for Speaker myself. With that experience, let me be the first to offer my thanks and deep respect for those members who have the courage to pursue this role and to solicit the support of you, our colleagues. Despite what some may say, doing so takes dedication to a greater cause than oneself. And I want to express my profound appreciation for their involvement in this process. As I start my 7th term in office, I have come to appreciate the value of maintaining friendships despite differences. Thomas Jefferson spoke to this when he said, "I never considered a difference of opinion in politics, in religion, in philosophy as a cause for withdrawing from a true friend." Wise words worth reflecting upon as we move forward today. Members, the decision we're faced with at this moment is one of the most personal votes we'll take this session. Like many of you, I have dear friends on every side of this issue. And despite what you might read in the paper or on social media, your vote today is yours alone, and it's perfectly okay to disagree. I assure you, this won't be the last time that you find yourself on the opposite side as some of your closest colleagues. However, it is in these moments of disagreement and division that I believe David Cook's approach to leadership truly shines. His approach is built on a foundation of service framed by his experience at the local level, where he spent 13 years as mayor of Mansfield. As mayor, David earned the respect and the admiration of the entire community through his inclusive leadership, working alongside citizens, local businesses and community leaders to preserve local control and advance common sense policies that foster economic growth, maintain fiscal responsibility, and importantly, members, ensure that every voice is heard. That same belief in the power of collaboration that David forged in local government continues to guide him in the Capitol today. Throughout his bid to be our next speaker, David has consistently shown that he values all perspectives, regardless of party affiliation or professional background. He understands that the strength of this chamber lies in our diversity, and that the very best way to serve the people is by ensuring that every representative has a seat at the table and a voice in the process. Over the last few months, I've seen firsthand David believes true leadership is not about concentrating power in a single individual, but about empowering others. He has consistently sought input from colleagues, proposed bold solutions to complex issues, and worked tirelessly to build trust and respect, bringing out the best in all around him. David has been vocal that his vision for the Speaker's office is one that strikes a balance between preserving the institutional practices that make our body so special while establishing clear, consistent rules and members applying them equally to promote trust and provide the level playing field that is essential for effective governance. Under David's leadership, the Speaker's office will be accessible to all of us and will serve as a hub for teamwork, where every representative can exchange ideas and advocate for our constituencies. David values cooperation over conflict, service over self-interest, and the priorities of Texans over the pressures of outside forces. He has made it clear that as Speaker, he will not only defend this chamber's longstanding tradition of collaboration, but work to strengthen it. Members, we face a critical choice at this hour: continue down the same path or chart a new one to make this House great. Today, I ask you to join me in supporting a leader who will govern with integrity, respect every voice among us, and lead us into a new era as a united House. Members, I believe that man is David Cook, and I humbly ask for your vote to make him the next Speaker of the Texas House. Thank you, may God bless you, and may God always bless our beloved Texas House of Representatives. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the Honorable Charlie Guerin of Tarrant County to nominate the Honorable Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, and my former senator. And let me tell you something, you can't have a better senator than I had right there. That's true.
Thank you. Thank you.
When I stepped on the floor of the House a long time ago, 2001, I pledged to uphold the Constitution of the United States and of the great state of Texas. And I hope to pass the lessons that I've learned on from years of service, shaped by both wins and some bitter losses. I've carried some bad bills, and I've carried some good ones, and I hope those are the ones I'm remembered for. And I understand the urge to ignore the Democrats and push our Republican agenda through without any dissent. Republicans have fought hard to win the last election, and we still control both the governor and the lieutenant governor, their offices. But the partisan campaigns were over November the 5th. We're here to work for and with each other, for and with our constituents. And our constituents are not just Republicans, or not just Democrats, or not just independents. They're rich people, they're poor people, they are school children, both in public and private. And we owe it to them to do our best to take care of their needs, not ours. And if any of you ran for office and are going to vote just so you can get reelected or get elected to a higher office, you ran for the wrong reason. This is the Texas House. We are beholden to each other. We need to elect a speaker who will uphold our traditions, and despite what you heard from paid influence, paid by billionaires that want to control this room, they're not going to. By working together, both Republicans and Democrats, we have passed major tax relief, very conservative, but major tax relief. We have provided more money to help secure our border, and we have worked together to get to these places. And once again, back to these people that are trying to buy the house. There's some really important things to defend here. I've seen Speaker Craddock and Dean Thompson work together on mental illness and hospital issues. They can work together to get things done. He's a really good Republican, and she's a really good Democrat. They're friends, and they can work together the same way that Ms. Thompson has worked with Senator Huffman on some very, very important issues related to human trafficking. Thank you, Ms. T, for that. This is our Texas. We are all different people, but we share a goal that all Texans deserve an opportunity for success, education, and safety. They're not values that are limited by either primary or either party. We all share the commitment we made when we hit this floor and we took an oath to the God to support the Constitution and laws of this great state. Dustin Burrows, I've known Dustin since he got here. Dustin came in, he was a little rough, and he made some people mad. I was one of them. But I've watched him over his time in the legislature become a great leader. And if you can't have a job like Dustin has had, running calendars without making somebody mad, it's impossible, isn't it, Speaker Craddock? I'm down to 1 minute, so I'm going to finish this up pretty quick. But Dustin Burrows is the right man for this. He's a good man, a very principled attorney. He will serve all of you. His door, like a lot of ours, will be open all the time, and he welcomes each and every one of you to come to his office and express your ideas, and we will elect Dustin Speaker today, and I look forward to serving with him and with all of you. Thank you very much.
So I ask. Okay. Yep. Okay. Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, nominations are closed. Now, the chair would like to recognize the Honorable John Bryant of Dallas County to make the first seconding speech for Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County. Mr. Bryant.
Thank you, Madam Secretary and members of the House. It's my great honor and privilege to second the nomination of a person superbly qualified by character, determination, and ability to serve as Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives, Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County. For 3 terms, she has consistently demonstrated courage, fierce determination to advance the interests of working and retired families, and an unyielding defense of people in our state who are otherwise defenseless against the power of billionaires, big business, and religious zealots. Of the 3 candidates, Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos is the only candidate for Speaker who has consistently voted for full funding of public education in a state that's 44th in state support for public schools. She's the only candidate who opposes using our meager public education funds for private school vouchers. And she's the only candidate who supports a woman's right to choose, as well as revisions of the law in order to permit women in a pregnancy crisis to receive the urgent medical care that will save their lives. Ana Maria Ramos is the only candidate who supports the LGBTQ community and their right to live fully and safely in a house where 30 bills have been filed so far that put that safety at risk. Now, the other candidates were invited to tell us what they would do to protect that community. Their supporters were asked to bring forward their proposals for protecting that community, and none came forward. She's the only candidate who is committed to protecting the Hispanic population in Texas, our largest group, in the face of bills that would allow them to be racially profiled in their own communities. And the other candidates were invited to bring forward their proposals to do the very same thing, and their supporters were invited to do the same thing, and none were forthcoming. Members of the House, in a state in which the wealth gap is so extreme that 66 billionaires living in our state own more wealth than 70% of Texans combined, what should we be looking for in a candidate to lead this House? I submit to you we should be looking for a person who not only has demonstrated the character and ability to lead, but a person who has a deep understanding of everyday Texans' most intimate family and household struggles. That person is Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos. I commend her to you. I ask you to vote for her for Speaker of the House, and it's my honor to second her nomination. Thank you.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Ellen Troxclair of Tarrant County to make the first seconding speech for David Cook of Tarrant County.
Hello, friends and colleagues. It is such an honor to stand before you today and to serve alongside each and every one of you. I know I came here for a reason, and I know that you all came here for a reason too. We came here because we want to make a difference. We want to deliver for our districts. We want to make Texas an even better place to live. We want to serve with integrity. And we want to follow through on the issues that led us to seek this public service in the first place. But in all of the complexities and the challenges that we face, it can be easy to lose sight of what matters most. When we're in this building around these big personalities and the grandeur of this building and this responsibility, it's easy to fall into thinking that this job is about the politics, that this job is about the power. But when we take a step back and remember why we came here, you know, just as well as I do, that it is not about us. It is about them, the people we came here to represent. And in that spirit, we need a leader who remembers that too. A leader who is focused on delivering real, meaningful results for all Texans. A leader who isn't out for personal gain, but is firmly committed to lifting others up. Over this past session, I've had the privilege of seeing David Cook in action. What I've witnessed is a leader who gives without expecting anything in return. When I found myself in a difficult position with one of my bills last session, unsure of how to proceed, David proactively offered to help. Not because he needed something from me, not because he expected something in return, but because he genuinely wanted to make sure his colleague, someone that he did not know before last session, that his colleague was successful. His service was not transactional. It was about making things better for the people that he serves alongside every day. And I know that each of you has experienced that same respect from him consistently, day in and day out. Whether you are a freshman or a veteran, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, he listens, he responds thoughtfully, he creates space for others to have their voices heard. And importantly, he works tirelessly to find common ground and give each of us the opportunity to achieve what we came here to do, to deliver for the people of Texas. This is the kind of leadership we need in the Speaker's chair. Someone who isn't focused on their own agenda, but who understands that true leadership is about facilitating the success of others, someone who seeks opportunities to do just that, whether it's accomplishing something for our districts or helping us navigate the challenges we know that we will face in the heat of session. David Cook embodies the spirit of service. He is the kind of leader who leads not by commanding, but by motivating and empowering, not putting others down, but lifting others up. You heard that time and time again from him, from Representative Ashby. He's the kind of speaker who will unite this body, who can make sure that every member can succeed, and ultimately who will deliver for the people of Texas. I ask you today to join me in voting for my friend David Cook for Speaker. Let's choose a leader who will put us, and more importantly, Texas, first.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Mahela Plise of Collin County to make the first seconding speech for Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County.
Thank you, Madam Secretary, members, and honored guests in the gallery. I rise to second the nomination of Chairman Dustin Burrows as the next Speaker of the Texas House. As the granddaughter of immigrants, I was called to public service because of the stories my grandparents told me while I was growing up about what life was like living under the darkness of totalitarian rule, the struggles against communism. When I was sworn in today, it was on my grandmother's Bible. She passed away last year at the age of 95, but her incredible wisdom and history lessons is what guides me today. Our family came to this country not just for the promise of peace, but for the promise of opportunity. Most importantly, the opportunity to be heard. Members, there are forces inside and outside of this building my grandmother would recognize immediately. One's dedicated to shutting down discourse, dedicated to ending opportunities for people like me and districts like mine from having a seat at the table. My family stories taught me that the importance of our democratic institutions is about the freedom to speak, the freedom to disagree, but ultimately to work together, free from fear of intimidation or reprisal. From McKinney to McAllen, Texas moves forward when we work together, even when we disagree. And I can guarantee you, I will disagree with Chairman Dustin Burrows. However, we need a speaker who will cultivate an environment allowing us to work through our disagreements with mutual respect. That's why I'm supporting Dustin Burrows, not because we agree on everything, but because he understands that this house, this is the people's house. It's for all Texans, even Democrats from Collin County. When Dustin Burrows embarked on his speaker campaign, he didn't start by alienating 62 duly elected members of this body. He did it with mutual respect and reaching out to members throughout this body. So take a minute and look around this chamber and think about the members that you know that are supporting Chairman Burrows. Freshman members you might have just met, to senior members who you look up to for mentorship. Rural and urban voices, conservatives, moderates, and yes, even progressives. It looks like Texas, all of Texas. And to my Democratic colleagues, I know some of y'all are thinking about waiting for a second ballot, but friends, today is not the time to play risky games. That's exactly what the people who want to silence our voice want this chamber to do today. So members, look around this historic chamber again. Notice the paintings and the composites on the wall, the generations who came before us. This should be a reminder that this house is bigger than any one party and any one person. That's what this vote is about. What institution we leave when our time here comes to an end. So members,
It's time to clock in and get to work for the people of Texas. And that starts with our first vote for our next speaker, Chairman Dustin Burrows. And let's show Texas that its leaders will not bend the knee to intimidation, but instead rise up, united, to protect the independence of this Texas House of Representatives. Thank you, members. God bless Texas, and let's get to work.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Yolanda Jones of Harris County to make the next seconding speech for Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County.
Thank you. I rise today to second the nomination of Representative Ana Maria Ramos as Speaker of the Texas House of Representatives for the 89th legislative session. Democrats, we are at a crossroads. Our decision today won't just shape this legislative session, but the future of our party and our state. Texans, especially the voiceless and overlooked, are watching us. They need to see that we have the courage to fight for them, even when it's tough. The 88th legislative session taught us that when we stand together, we can win. We were the minority party then. We defeated school vouchers with Republican allies. But the voucher fight is not over. They're on the table again, and with the wrong speaker, trust me, they'll be shoved down our throats. It'll be the first step in dismantling public education, robbing our kids of a free education. Representative Ana Maria Ramos will stand with us in this fight. But this fight isn't just about vouchers. It's about everything we stand for as Democrats and poor people in Texas. It's about stopping hate, the hate of diversity, equity, and inclusion, of immigrants, of the LGBTQ+ community. It's about defending rights, the rights of parents to choose the best medical care for their children, and women to choose what's best for our bodies without state interference, the right to be paid a living wage for an honest day's work. It's about fully funding historically black colleges and universities. For y'all don't know, that's called HBCUs, because I found out a whole bunch of people in this chamber don't know what an HBCU is. It's about fully funding public education, especially neighborhood schools. It's about criminal justice reform, affordable health care, which includes expanding Medicaid. It's about affordable housing and affordable groceries, creating more jobs and fixing the grid, making Texas a place where hardworking people, not just rich, have the opportunity to succeed. The only speaker candidate that has pledged to fight these priorities is Representative Ana Maria Ramos. Those that are in leadership and those that are running have vowed to keep us out as chairs. Some really bad bills passed last session. They hurt my constituents. Our constituents want us to stand up and fight for them unapologetically, even if there's a chance we could lose. Representative Ramos will do just that. As I reflect on this moment, I'm reminded of Harriet Tubman, who said she could have freed so many more people if they only knew they were enslaved. Right now, some of us are enslaved, not by chains, but by fear. Fear of losing, fear of retaliation, fear of standing up to our oppressors. Even if you think Ana Maria Ramos can't ultimately win this first round, I think we should show Texans that we can stand together. I'm personally voting for Ana Maria Ramos because she's the only Democrat in this race. Y por mi familia latina, mi abuela siempre decía que no se puede saber quién es la gente en los buenos tiempos. Se descubre en los tiempos difíciles. Supongo que los tejanos verán quién es el caucus demócrata de la Cámara de Representantes en este momento difícil. My grandmother always said, you can't tell who people are in good times. You find out in hard times. I guess Texas will see who the House Democratic Caucus is in this tough time, and I respectfully ask for you to vote for Ana Maria Ramos for Speaker of the Texas House. Thank you.
The chair recognizes the Honorable James Frank of Wichita County to make this next seconding speech for David Cook of Tarrant County.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Members, it's my honor today to second the nomination of David Cook for the position of Speaker of the Texas House. I've had the pleasure of serving in this body, sometimes the challenge of serving in this body, for the last 12 years. When the people of Wichita Falls, where I live, ask me how they should pray for me during the session, I usually tell them three things. I said, pray for a big brain, a big heart, and a small ego. I said, pray for wisdom beyond myself, because I need it for the many complex issues that face the 30 million people in this state. For big heart, for compassion that truly helps others without making them dependent. For a small ego, you understand that humility, something I struggle with, to see every other person around me as a person of value, regardless of and especially if I don't agree with them. So why do I tell you that during a seconding speech for David Cook? Because for the past 2 sessions, I have had a seat directly behind David Cook on the House floor, and I have seen all three of these qualities in him. For those of you all who have served, you know that you get an inside look at a person's character during those long days and nights on the floor. And David Cook truly does have wisdom and a big brain. He's a lawyer, he's a long-term former mayor, and he has become a leader in his short time in the House. He has a big heart, he has compassion. He works on juvenile justice reform, the bills that he works on. He has helped me with the CPS bills that I have worked on. He wants good things for people. And he has a small ego. He has humility, which, given the importance of the role and the gravity of the role that we are about to vote on, may be the most important characteristic of the three. David is a good man, but he is not just a good man. He is committed to making sure that every single member of the House is heard and that you are able to represent your district. If you're a Republican today, the choice is clear. Our caucus met and elected a Speaker nominee. Today, we simply follow through on the promise that we made our constituents. If you're a Democrat here today, why should you vote for David Cook? I would suggest it's a seat at the table. In talking to my Democratic colleagues, including one of the Speaker nominees, Ana Maria Ramos, one of my favorite Democrats, only a small number of you are actually invited to the table to negotiate most of the important bills of session. Even fewer of you have input on the appropriations process, even though it directly impacts your district, even though each of us represent the same 200,000 people. David is committed to the kind of consistent meetings during session that will help ensure that every single member in both parties gets their opinions heard for those who want their opinions heard. Members' input is why most of us ran. I wasn't going to make that 1 minute left. All right. Input, members, is why most of us ran, to influence policies on behalf of our districts, not to be told by a select group in leadership how to vote and what our districts would get. Because at the end of the day, this vote is not really about the individuals running for Speaker, but about your individual ability to represent your district. I believe that David Cook gives more members an opportunity to actually represent their district than any other candidate. Please join me in voting for David Cook as Speaker of the Texas House. Thanks.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Tony Rose of Dallas County to make the next seconding speech for Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Members, I rise today to second the nomination of Dustin Burrows for the Speaker of House of the Texas House of Representatives. I met Dustin prior to him even being sworn in at an event. I actually thought he was a staffer, but he looked so young. He like a kid fresh out of college, but I learned quickly that he was a member-elect. He just looked so young. And so over the years, I've watched him age rapidly, and I really think the beard has something to do with it. But seriously, I watched him grow from that eager freshman into a thoughtful leader who understands the weight and responsibilities of this institution. As Vice Chair of Calendars, I worked alongside him and saw how much he cares about this house and its values. And let me just say this about Dustin. When he says yes, he means yes. When he says no, he means no. And if he can't do it, he will tell you he can't do it. And in these divided times, that kind of honesty is rare. That kind of integrity is priceless. Members, we've heard the saying, and I know last session, all I kept hearing is, don't California my Texas, don't California. Well, don't Washington my Texas. Because that is what at stake here. The choice before us is about who holds isn't about who holds the gavel. It's about who we are as a body, a Texas body. It's about whether we maintain the Texas House traditions of working across the party lines to serve all constituents, or whether we surrender to the politics of no. Each of us represent approximately 200,000 Texans who send us here to work for them, to think of them before we think of ourselves. Our districts look different, our voters may look different, but every single one of those Texans deserve a voice in this chamber. I believe Dustin Burrows' commitment to protecting this institution, protecting your right to fight for your district regardless of your party. I believe in his commitment to maintaining a house where every member has a seat at the table and every voice can be heard. I second his nomination knowing we will disagree on policy issues, just like my colleague, Representative Plusser said. That's a fact. I disagree with some of the policy that some of the Democrats make. So, I mean, that's just a fact. You're just going to disagree on policy. But what I do know is that he's a leader who would at least have a conversation. It's not already a no before you even have a conversation. And so that's a conversation that my constituents deserve as Texans. I'm asking you to take a step back and look at the big picture. Truth doesn't have a party label. And the ability to say what you mean and mean what you say, that doesn't have a party label either. It's called representing, and that is what I was sent here to do. Dustin Burrows is committed to fairness and protecting the traditions of this house. I know because I witnessed it. He stood on the front lines to ensure the passage of my bill to extend postpartum care for 12 months. When I was having issues, he stood at the front. He was the first one to say, what can I do to help? What do we need to do? This is the kind of leader we need. One who will make sure everyone is able to represent their district. He will be the kind of speaker who can help us find common ground to solve the common problems facing our district and our state. And that's why I am proud to second the nomination of Dustin Burrows as the next Speaker of the Texas House. Thank you, and may God bless this House. May God bless my constituents, and may God bless the great state of Texas.
The chair recognizes the Honorable Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County to make the final seconding speech for Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County.
Buenas tardes. We mixed this up, didn't we? Buenas tardes, yo soy Ana María Rodríguez Ramos. Gracias a todas nuestras familias por estar aquí con nosotros hoy y por mi abuelita que nos está escuchando desde el cielo. Good afternoon, members. I'm Ana María Rodríguez Ramos, and thank you to the millions of Texans who labor every day to make ends meet and contribute to our economy and who are watching us here today. From the public school teacher to the baker in the local panaderia to the farmhand who takes a shower after work every day, this is for you. Thank you to my family and supporters who are here today in the gallery and in our offices, to my husband, Johnny, and my children, Annie, Diego, and Nathaniel. I love you all so much, and thank you, Mom, and to my siblings for your support. And to all who fight for a fairer and stronger Texas, thank you. I stand before you not just as a legislator, but as a living testament to the enduring promise of the American dream. We are all Texans. Whether we grew up in the bustling streets of Dallas or the big country of West Texas, we provide for our families, and we know the value of hard work. Texans are proud and Texans are friendly. Everything is bigger in Texas, especially the hearts and souls of our communities. Texans shelter a neighbor during a storm or give a stranger a jump in the grocery store parking lot. Texans stand up for each other against bullies who pick our pockets and harm our dignity. And yet, across this great state, families of all stripes are one medical crisis away from financial ruin. Our public schools are closing, rural communities are without hospitals, and young Texans don't know if they can save for their starter home. The thing is, these are policy choices, and it doesn't have to be this way. We deserve good pay for hard work. Yet, in the midst of an abundant surplus, we are surrounded by scarcity. A handful of Texas billionaires hold more wealth than the vast majority of Texans combined. Now, I don't say this to vilify people who work hard, overcome obstacles, and earn great wealth. That's the dream. But policies that allow only a few to rise to the top prevent the rest of us from having a fair shot at prosperity. And as a result, we fight among ourselves, divided instead of united. Texans don't expect us to solve everything in this chamber. They don't expect a handout, but they do expect us to put our differences aside in favor of common solutions to give Texans a fair shot. Together, we can pass policies that allow all Texans to prosper. Together, we create our Texas. In our Texas, the sons of the mountains of El Paso and the daughters of the urban tapestry of Houston share an opportunity because they have access to a great education, a college they can afford, or a trade they can master. In our Texas, all people can have access to the health care they need to live healthy and joyful lives, from the white-collar accountant to the blue-collar oil field worker, from the caregiver of a special needs child to the artist bringing light and joy to the world around them. In our Texas, working families from the sun-baked heat of the Gulf to the windy plains of the Panhandle have good jobs and robust benefits and never have to choose between paying bills, putting food on the table, or having access to clean drinking water. In our Texas, we live full lives in the north and storied lives in the south. And in the plains of the west and in the piney woods of the east, we can grow old and retire in comfort, knowing that the next generation has what they need to thrive and keep our legacies alive. By making these ideals our priority, we resurrect the American dream and give Texans the tools and resources they need to build the life they want. Our Texas is within our grasp, if only we have the courage to reach for it. To all my colleagues, I extend an open hand and ask for your vote. Our state faces challenges that transcend both generations and party lines. Let's put the people of Texas first, because we have so much more in common than what separates us. Gracias.
Chair recognizes the Honorable Richard Raymond of Webb County to make the final seconding speech for David Cook of Tarrant County.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I second the nomination of David Cook as Speaker of the House. I first walked into this chamber, members, 32 years ago, and still believe my most important vote is that for Speaker. 3 friends of mine filed for Speaker, David, Ana Maria, Dustin, but the numbers being what they are, 88 Republicans, 62 Democrats, initially I supported Dustin. But as I learned more about the race and the candidates, I decided to vote for David Cook. Among other things, I looked at their time here in this chamber. I was willing to look past the things about each with which I did not agree. For example, Mr. Burrows and former Speaker Dennis Bonnen sitting in the Speaker's office trying to negotiate access, to allow access to someone if they would help them defeat Republicans and Democrats they did not like. And speaking candidly with disdain about many of you, something they both denied until they realized it had been recorded. In the end, it led to Dennis Bonnen having to retire from this chamber. But I moved past that. However, as this race began in earnest, I learned from firsthand witnesses, many of you, that it was Mr. Bonnen who was running Dustin's campaign, still running things. I'm sure he's watching now. Dennis, whose lobbying firm is appropriately and brazenly named Second Floor Strategies. I had hoped we could have a new beginning with Mr. Burrows, but that is clearly not the case, and you all know it. The more I learned about and thought about how only a few would be able to fully participate in a process and be a substantive part of the process, were we to continue with that regime, the more I knew that we must go in a new direction. I believe David Cook will take us in that new direction of allowing more of the members to be part of the process, Democrats and Republicans, not just those approved by the second floor strategist, where only a few are allowed into the room of influence and decision. I know that you want to be on the winning side. I've talked to so many of you, and I know that sometimes you fear that there will be repercussions if you are not. But we must move past those fears. We must be stronger than those fears. You know, I prayed a lot about my decision, and for me, prayers are very important. When you lose a child, as I lost my son Aaron 5 years ago, prayers are even more important in your life. I could not have continued to live were it not for prayers and my faith. So members, we must put fear aside and embrace our faith instead. We must put fear aside and put the people whom we represent ahead of those we fear. When I see the people up in this gallery, I may not agree with everything they believe, but I know that these people have something in common with the constituents in every one of our districts. They fill us with their hopes and dreams, and mostly they just ask that we not be afraid to represent them, even when it is not easy. We must move away from a house controlled by a select few. Mr. Cook is a consensus builder. You know that if you've worked with him, who believes we should all be a part of this process. I've spoken with so many of you about this race, and I know that a majority of you want a new direction, a new start, and a new beginning. And I say let that begin by doing what your heart and your instincts tell you is the right thing. And there are some Democrats that want to sanction me or censure me. Well, let me tell you guys that are watching, one of the things with which I do not agree with my friend Dustin Burrows is the speech that he gave saying that even if every monument, Confederate monument, was taken down across the country, that they should stand in Texas because Texas is different. I don't agree with that. But boy, if Democrats come after me, well then Democrats, if you vote for Mr. Burrows, get ready because now they come after you.
Mr.
But it's
Rainey,
not
your
about
time
party
has
politics,
expired.
it's about the future. Thank you.
Thank you. The chair recognizes the Honorable Lacey Hall of Harris County to make the final seconding speech for Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County.
Members, I'm proud to second the nomination of Dustin Burrows as Speaker of the House, a true grassroots leader. Serving my constituents as a member of the Texas House is the honor of a lifetime. I myself became politically active after becoming a mom because I realized the issues I consider critical for my son Owen's future were critical for Texas and our country as well. So I got involved. I started locally and eventually became a precinct chair to help get out the vote. I volunteered to help several candidates get elected, including 3 of our colleagues, Briscoe Kane, Tom Oliverson, and my dear friend Valerie Swanson, who also helped me get elected. I even worked on a primary against an incumbent. I poured myself into candidates and causes that I believed in. I started taking Owen with me, volunteering when he was 2 years old. You don't get more grassroots or more Texas than a woman at a polling place with hard opinions and a toddler on her hip. Unfortunately, some people have gotten the impression that being grassroots is about strutting on social media and attacking people for $50 a tweet. That's not grassroots. Grassroots is about doing the work, being the ground game. Those people work themselves to exhaustion to drive positive change. That's why I'm offended at the political machine made up of big money and bigger lies that has attempted to pull the wool over the eyes of so many hardworking Texans. Those Texans deserve the truth about this contest, so I'm here. I have always advocated relentlessly for the causes and candidates that I believe in. You can bet I'll keep doing that until my last breath. I'm especially honored to advocate for my 200,000 constituents. They put their faith in me, and I take that very seriously. Like each of you, I'm here with their best interests at heart. I'm not the only representative in this chamber who started at the grassroots level. So did my colleague and friend, Dustin Burrows. In spite of all the fabrications and flat-out lies that you have heard about him lately, Dustin is a product of the grassroots and a man of unshakable integrity. Dustin is too humble to show you the pairs of shoes that he wore out block walking, but he is a leader who has always done the work. The precinct chairs were so impressed by his hard work that they selected him to fill the vacant seat in his district, and he still has the support of his local party, precinct chairs, and grassroots. He's a battle-scarred, fellow fighter grassroots guy. In the House, he's held numerous roles and even knows what it's like to vote his conscience against a speaker regardless of consequences. He is a thoughtful leader who knows how to get things done for his district and do what's best for Texas. I'm talking about the Texas I want to shape for my son Owen, who is here today, representing his generation that is relying on us to secure our state's future. In this session, we can do that if we're selfless. We can do that if we're united. And we can do that if we're willing to stand up to the big money AstroTurf machine seeking to control this chamber. I mean, what's more Texan than standing on principle? So let the big money machine keep spreading those lies and threats. I will not waver. I will not be intimidated, and neither should you. As a mother and as a Texan, I will keep standing on principle and do what's right for my constituents, and that starts with choosing Dustin Burrows as our speaker. His commitment to this House is unwavering. His integrity is unshakable, and his willingness to just do the work like he always has is unmatched. Members, I welcome you to join me and cast your vote for the grassroots veteran who embodies the best of our state.
Ms. Hull, your time has expired. Thank you.
Representative Dustin Burrows. Thank you.
Thank you. Members, under the terms of the resolution adopted by the House, the vote for the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature shall be conducted using the voting machine. Pursuant to that resolution, I will now draw lots to determine the color of the light on the machine for each nominee. I will draw the colors in the order each candidate was nominated. Y'all trust me? Okay. All right. All right. Here, we're turning off the microphone. What? My fingers don't. All right. Please, members, be sure the key to your voting machine is in the horizontal position. Pursuant to the drawing that I just conducted, the Honorable Boroughs of Lubbock County will be the green light. Is that right? Okay. The Honorable Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County will be represented by the red light. And the Honorable Cook of Tarrant County will be represented by the white light. I'm going to repeat that. Burrows, green. Rodriguez Ramos, red. Cook, white. Got it? Okay. Members who do not cast a vote and were present on the initial roll call will be shown as present, not voting in the journal. Members and guests, it will take a few minutes after the vote is closed to announce the result. The chair would ask, please, members and guests remain seated and hold any applause until after the chair announces the results of the vote. So, members, the question occurs on the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature. Members wishing to vote for Representative Burrows shall press the green voting button. Members wishing to vote for Representative Rodriguez Ramos shall press the red voting button. Members wishing to vote for Representative Cook shall press the white voting button. This is a record vote. The clerk will ring the bell. Give me a sound. Have all members... I got a couple lights here that aren't going, technical people. Show Representative DeRacio voting the white light. Any others? And stand up and shout. Show Landgraf voting green light. Anybody else? Stand up and shout. Anybody else? Stand up and shout. Anybody else? Have all members voted? Have all members voted? Members, it's going to take a few minutes to get the record vote printout. So, hang on. Sit tight. Okay, let me bang this one. Members, if you'd return to your seats, please. There are 71 votes in favor of the Honorable Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County. There are 23 votes in favor of the Honorable Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos of Dallas County. There are 56 votes in favor of the Honorable David Cook of Tarrant County. No nominee received more of the votes cast. No nominee received 76 or more of the votes cast. Pursuant to the resolution adopted by the House, a runoff will be conducted between the Honorable Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County and the Honorable David Cook of Tarrant County. I will need to draw lots to determine the light colors of the runoff, so let's draw colors. Okay, not yet. Yep. Members, let's return to your seats, please. All right. So, Yes. The Honorable Dustin Burrows of Lubbock will be represented by the green light. The Honorable David Cook of Tarrant County will be represented by the red light. And the white light will be used by those members who wish to be recorded as present, not voting. Members and guests remain seated and hold your applause, until after the chair announces the results of the vote. Members, the question occurs on the election of the Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature. Members wishing to vote for Representative Burrows shall press the green voting button. Members wishing to vote for Representative Cook shall press the red button, and members wishing to be recorded as present, not voting, shall press the white button. This is a record vote. The clerk will ring the bell. I'm sorry. Have all members voted? Have all members voted? And are all your machines working? Have all members voted? Burrows? Burrows of Lubbock County? Take those. Okay. Members, take your seats. There are 85 votes in favor of the Honorable Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County. There are 55 votes in favor of the Honorable David Cook of Tarrant County, and 9 present not voting. Pursuant to the Constitution and laws of the state of Texas, I declare the Honorable Dustin Burrows of Lubbock County to be the duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 89th Legislature. Will the Speaker-elect and your family please assemble at the Chief Clerk's office and proceed to the dais? Turn that off. I've got a card. Oh, no, you can turn it off. I've got Will the speaker-elect and his family please all be sure you're assembled at the dais? And I would now like to administer the oath of office to the speaker-elect. Speaker-elect, would you please step forward? I think I need you over here on this side, please.
On this side.
Okay. Mr. Speaker, I need the Bible. Right here. With your wife. Mr. Speaker, members, I need you to, we need order. Bring them all, bring them all.
Bring them all.
Bring them all. Okay. Get them picture worthy, there we go. Okay. Mr. Speaker, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dustin Burrows,
I, Dustin Burrows,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Speaker of the House of Representatives
of Speaker of the House of Representatives
of the 89th Legislature
of the 89th Legislature
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my abilities
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you, too.
Thank you.
At this time, the Secretary would recognize the Honorable Greg Bonin of Galveston County.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. It is my honor and my privilege to stand in front of you and to introduce to you Speaker Burrows and his family. Joining us on the dais, we have Elizabeth Burrows, Speaker Burrows' wife. Their 3 sons, Davis, Whitby, and Henry, who enjoy all kinds of things, including camels and violins and tennis. We have Francis Howes, his father-in-law, Diane Hawes, mother-in-law, Laura McCamey, sister-in-law, Zach McCamey, brother-in-law, Madeline McCamey, niece, Max McCamey, nephew, Oliver McCamey, nephew, Sarah Steves, aunt, Sam Steves, uncle, and Daryl Tanner, aunt. This has been a difficult time for many of us, but we are here, and it is time for us to come together, and you're going to hear from the person who I think is best able to carry us forward. I kind of wish that you guys could know Speaker Burrows the way I know him, as not just a friend, but as a husband and as a father who truly loves his family and is really dedicated to them and is really dedicated to what we do here in the Texas House. This is a man that, as you heard, came here and voted against the speaker and didn't pass any legislation for a period of time. My brother, who was a dreaded senior member at the time, at one point mistook him for the comptroller's travel aide. So he knows what it is to toil in obscurity. He has been formed by those experiences, and he has grown into a great leader and a great defender of this institution. He's a friend. He's a brother. And it's my honor to introduce to you the Speaker of the House, Dennis Bond.
Thank you, members and friends. You'll bear with me. I had hoped I had a chance to actually preview what I'm about to say before I did, but we have been obviously working to the last minute for this. And let me say this. Members, honored friends, fellow Texans, at the midpoint of an exciting day, on the heels of an eventful couple of months, I am honored beyond words to stand before you as Speaker. I'm a firm believer in servant leadership, so just imagine my spot at the bottom of the House organizational chart, supporting every one of you in your obligations to your district and to our great state. You represent millions of Texas families who entrusted you with their vote and their future. So as I begin, I want to thank my own family, my wife Elizabeth, our 3 boys, Davis, Whitby, and Henry, for their support during a challenging season. I love you and I appreciate you. I also want to recognize and commend all of the families of the members present here today. We stand on the brink of a 140-day session in which sacrifices we make in serving Texas come to rest on your shoulders as well. I ask my fellow members to join me in showing our appreciation to each other with a round of applause. As we know all too well, public service demands sacrifice, not just from those who serve, but from those who love them. Your patience, understanding, and support make this work possible. Also, to my dedicated staff who have worked tirelessly through long days and nights leading to this moment, thank you for your commitment to the greatest state of all, Texas. To our dedicated House staff, the parliamentarians, clerks, sergeants, and all who keep this chamber running, thank you for your professionalism and dedication. To the members of this House, I thank you for placing your trust in me. In my time with you today, I want to be painfully direct and mercifully brief, focusing on one overriding concept. This is the people's house. Each of us was dispatched from our home districts with needs, dreams, and hopes of our constituents in our keep. Each of us has a role to play in the people's house. During my time in this chamber, I've occupied every station, from what felt like the highest to what had to be the lowest, sometimes in the same session. I've carried major legislation and minor bills and experienced sessions with no bills at all. Each role, each experience has taught me something essential about this institution we call the People's House. I stand here today because of mentors who showed me the way. I remember great Garnet Coleman, who chaired my first committee and shared wisdom I have never forgotten. He told me, we all have the same people, poor people, wealthy people, and everything in between, united by the fact they all have problems. But at the end of the day, we have to work together because of whom we represent. We work for the people. Sam Houston once said, "A leader is someone who helps improve the lives of other people or improves the system they live under." Those words capture the essence of our responsibility here. The weight of this moment and the trust you've placed in me is not lost on me. Each of you brings unique wisdom from the districts you serve, from the Panhandle to the Valley, from East Texas to El Paso. Our strength lies not in conformity, but in how we harmonize these diverse perspectives into service for this great state. Recent days have tested our bonds, yet they've also proven that this institution is greater than any one individual or any faction. The House endures because Texas and Texans need it to endure. From rules that govern this chamber, they are designed to protect members from the Speaker, not the other way around. The rules exist to guarantee open and respectful policy debates, as is fitting for such a representative body. They ensure the majority can rule while the minority has a voice. All of us have a role to play in addressing some clear and pressing challenges. Property taxpayers need relief. Our public schools need support. Our water infrastructure needs investment. We need to address the threats of terrorism on the heels of a Texan conducting an attack on New Year's Day. These aren't Republican issues or Democrat issues. They're Texas issues. Whether your district is urban or rural, coastal or border, your constituents sent you here to ensure their children can prosper, their communities can grow, and their hope for their future does not diminish. I commit to you today, every member will have a voice. Every district will have a seat at the table. Committee assignments will be made in keeping with your House rules, reflecting the diversity of experience and expertise of this chamber. Our timeline for priority legislation will be transparent, and every Texan will know their House is working for them. The institutions of this House are essential and timeless. They evolved through our history to provide suitable, reliable place to deliberate the aspirations and desires of each and every one of our districts. This work can be complex, difficult, and even divisive, but history shows us that we can obtain outcomes that are just, sensible, and affordable. That is what this chamber does. The House is at its best when we're tackling problems that are seemingly insurmountable. We do that by building broad coalitions, united by shared values that are bigger and stronger than our geographical or our political differences. Like Sam Houston and those who came before us, we face our own defining moment. Not on a battlefield, but in this chamber, where the future of Texas takes shape daily through our collective work. The next 140 days hold unlimited potential. If we remember our purpose, I will certainly remember mine and my responsibility to you in this chamber. I have served in this body long enough to know that being Speaker was traditionally considered a sacrifice. You had to put the institution first. I accept that sacrifice willingly because I believe in this House, and more importantly, I believe in each and every one of you. Today, we begin the people's work. Whether you voted for me or not, my office door will be open to you. In the end, we're all here for the same reason, not to please ourselves or anyone individual, but to serve our districts with distinction and to serve Texas with integrity, courage, and common sense. Let us make the 89th session of the Texas Legislature one to remember for its decorum, for its effectiveness, and for the future we shape together. May God bless you, and through this House, the People's House, may God continue to bless the great state of Texas. Thank you. Members, we do have one administrative matter we have to take care of before we can adjourn for the day. The following motion in writing, the clerk will read the motion.
Motion in writing by the Honorable Will Metcalf of Montgomery County. Mr. Speaker, I move that staff members employed by House committees at the end of the 88th legislature continue to be employed by the House subject to available funding until standing committee assignments have been made for the 89th legislature. Okay.
The question occurs on the adoption of the motion. Is there any objection? Chair hears none, and the motion is adopted. Before adjourning for the day, I would like to acknowledge our interpreters for the deaf, Zofia Lewandowski, Olivia Parker, and Jamie Kale. And also our Doctor of the Day, Terrence Hines of Austin. All right, the Honorable Jeff Leach of Collin County moves that the House stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow in memory of those House members who have passed away since we last convened in 2023, whose names will be entered in the journal. Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The House will stand adjourned until 10 a.m. Wednesday.